Action.
Hi, this is Zach Gator with Period 3 News for Mr. Merkin's class.
Forest management is a very tricky subject. Fire is a powerful element and has a powerful impact on the environment and humans on Earth. For hundreds of years, man has suppressed wildfires and thought that suppressing wildfires would help better the situation and ensure a healthy forest environment, but we are wrong. Today it is known that it causes thick vegetation and large amounts of dead fallen materials and increased density of smaller trees. It affects the ecosystem and it affects the diseases, wildlife populations, soil structure, and nutrient recycling.
California has a large history of fires. The largest fire was in 2003 and was called the Cedar Fire. The Cedar Fire ran simultaneous with the Old Fire, both in San Diego. Total amount of people killed was 15, and total amount of acres burned 400,000, including over 2,000 homes.
To ensure a careful procedure, forest managers check the wind conditions, seasons, weather, humidity, the amount of moisture in the dead vegetation, and the fullness of the forest floor vegetation. If all of these key elements fall together, then the forest manager will plot an area for the burn. Recently, scientists have been discovering that suppressing wildfires is not the best way of the solutions, but a new method called prescribed fire has been used. Prescribed fire is a started fire by man, nature, and is monitored carefully. Management teams have noticed that fire suppression has caused many problems in the forest ecosystem. Fire exclusion causes thick vegetation and large amounts of dead fallen materials. This increases the fuel quantity on the forest floor and may cause fires to ignite more easily. Fire is a regenerated of nutrients. Fire stimulates the growth of nutrient-fixing legumes, such as clover. These plants are able to use atmospheric nutrient nitrogen and return it to the soil, thus improving its health. A resurge of plant growth soon follows. For some plants, a higher temperature is needed for seeds to sprout. The vegetation, but the forests have a hot ground floor that allows the sun to warm up the soil more easily. If fire keeps on being suppressed, then biomass will grow to higher levels and the fires will be hotter and more destructive. Then a lot of wildlife and plants will be destroyed. Even roots below ground will be killed and recovery may take decades. So, let's stop the fires that need to be stopped and let's fires that don't need to be stopped. Free. Roam free.
Firefighters have their hands full. Each year, the California Department of Forestry, also known as CAL FIRE, responds to over 5,600 wildfires. They've gotten to know fire well, but recently they've seen a change in its personality.
Now the fires are very volatile. They get up into the canopy of the trees, kill the brush. Those type of fires make it extremely hard for us to control.
A large blow-up that crowns into the tops of the trees can release as much energy every 15 minutes as the atomic bomb that destroyed Hiroshima.
These fires grow to tens and hundreds of thousands of acres. They create their own weather systems. They have flame lengths 300 feet tall, the size of 30-story buildings moving through the forests. These are just almost unstoppable forces of nature.
So what's created this growing problem? Surprisingly, it has a lot to do with humans putting out fires.
Smokey the Bear, Smokey the Bear.
100 years ago, in a move designed to save the woodlands and protect our natural resources, the U.S. Forest Service adopted the policy of 100% fire suppression.
So remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
Smokey Bear, Only You Can Prevent Wildfires, did a lot to highlight wildfires, the threat of wildfires throughout the 1900s. A lot of people really learned a lot about fire from Smokey Bear. Unfortunately, his message is misinterpreted to mean that all fire is bad, which it absolutely isn't.
Over millions of years, forests and grasslands of the West evolved with fire playing a crucial role in the health and growth of the ecosystem. But by taking fire out of the equation, we've disrupted the balance of nature.
Fire is just as important in the forest landscape as sunlight or water. The trees need it. And prior to our suppression, the fire would come through and actually rejuvenate the ecosystem. It would move through, clear out the dead vegetation, the dead brush. Certain trees require fire in order for their seeds to pop out and plant the next crop of trees. When we came in with fire suppression, we interrupted that natural cycle.
We still have this sense of fire as something that is dangerous, something that is to be avoided. It's a catastrophe, it's an inferno. But the reality is fire is absolutely integral to this land, this landscape, and without fire, there would be none of this.
Jeff Coffey is an expert on California native plants and an environmental writer who was one of the first to chronicle the effects of the Vision Fire.
The week after the fire, it burned for about 4 days. Everything was just a wasteland, black.
These are 7 easy steps to prevent forest fires. 1. Form a small group or join a local team that cleans leaves and any plant growth on the soil bed of the thick forests. This helps remove dry brush that can fuel a fire in the forest. 2. Be careful when smoking cigarettes in the forest. Put them out completely and do not throw butts near trees or dry leaves. 3. Park your vehicles away from the trees and dry areas of the forest. Any fluid or fuel that leaks from the cars can help start a fire. 4. Completely put your campfire out if you're camping in the forest. Pour water on the burning twigs for added safety. Also try not using candles and matches inside your tent. Keep combustible liquids and alcohol inside tightly sealed containers. 5. Try to not use fireworks in or near a forest. Fires can spread very quickly as sparks from the firecrackers reach dry leaves in the forest. 6. Always be careful when cooking on an open flame or grill in your backyard. Unattended fires can cause to nearby forest fires. 7. Avoid spilling any industrial waste near forests. This waste are normally toxic in nature and can prove. Okay, I gotta go back to 7.